All right, guys, we're going to do a narrated rolling session. Here I'm rolling with my very, very good friend and value training partner, Bob. Bob is, as a matter of fact, a 9/11 first responder, or he was a 9/11 first responder, served and proudly participated in the FDNY for his career, and he is a firefighter and retired. He found his way over to Vamos, which is our home training academy, and he's an awesome guy to work with. As you can see here, he learns pretty fast. I actually I sat in on a little bit of a half guard pole, and he came on top. I wanted to test his top skills, see how he was doing, and he came in right on top. Wound up securing a triangle, and he pushed through. He legitimately defended that, so as well. And here I'm going for a foot lock, and he turns around and attacks my feet of his own. So as we can see here, we go out of frame a little bit, so I step back. Bob's a gamer. Love rolling with him. So here we are back on the feet. He actually has a wrestling background as well. So shout out to Squad 252, which is his home squad that he retired from out there in Brooklyn, Queens area. So here I am sitting again. Now I have a butterfly guard and we're going to hand fight here. Okay, so now I have a bear hug and a butterfly hook, which is a very, very strong position for me. As you can see there, he grabbed my head and I shrugged my shoulders to look to take his back. And now I'm here working on an arm triangle a little bit. We'll just see how I assess the situation. He hand fights. I go for a Kimura grip, slide back on an arm bar. He's got really, really strong grip and a strong, firm defensive grasp here on. He actually goes and doubles down on his bicep. And I go over the top for a bicep slicer. A lot of times this technique I will go for if I feel like my opponent's strong and they have a good armbar defense. I just find it's a cool little way to finish, get a finishing technique without having to force something. So here I am, jump back in on a high crotch. Bob does a nice job trying to spin behind, and I go to my lately this has been really my favorite position. It's a half guard with a butterfly hook. Here I elevate the hook, roll into side control as we're working here. Bob's doing a pretty decent job here. I break his frame off my hip. I go to step over it. He immediately pummels back in and recovers it. Fantastic technique. So then I decide, all right, I'll have to go south towards his hips, go into mount and work an arm triangle. Bury my head in the mat. That's a really strong detail to remember when you're going for arm triangles. Make sure that, as I say to my students that I teach when I teach arm triangle, if you're blinding yourself in the mat, i.e. you can't see when you're finishing, a lot of times you're doing it correct. Bob goes for a big throw. He's got the bear hug here, and he lets it rip. He steps in. I a little shuffle step, but he still gets me through, which is pretty cool. Now he's back on top. He gets a takedown. And here, once again, I recovered that half guard with a butterfly hook, elevate. And here I'm just tipping him a little bit. I like this palm to palm lately too. I went on the far side butterfly hook and worked over the top. Now I get the tap. That was a straight arm lock. I've really been liking from butterfly. If I get that sweep, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go for that palm to palm. We call that a telephone lock too, because really what you're doing is you're isolating the your opponent's wrist in the crook of your neck where your ear and your shoulder and your trap meet, and you're exploiting the joint there. He does a nice job. Bob, there's a little duck under there. I'm looking for a wrestler switch. He maintains good base on top. And I like this. This is cool. He actually kind of flows into the position. And he comes back out front looking for like a little bit of a Darce here. He does give his hip away, which is a little bit of not such a great idea to do. However, he does know that you can finish from the side. What happens here is I pummel my left arm over the top and actually get into the backside crook of his tricep, where his tricep meets his lat, and drive that to his side. And eventually here I get an arm bar. I sit back on an arm bar, and I actually flee out of the position there. It just really wasn't going to work out for me. So I tried going for a triangle, and I was like, all right, let's just reset. No problem. We have a lot of fun. When Bob and I roll, like, we're competitive for sure, but, the idea of us going super, super hard with each other doesn't make any sense. We're here to go through the positions. As you can see here, nothing but love. Lots of good times. Love this guy.